Man, I think you could look around and see that there are demons and hyenas and jackals all around us on the regular, you know.
Well, it seems that Wesley Snipes has ruffled some feathers in Hollywood with his recent comments. And while he hasn't called out any names, some folks believe that the actor's jab was directed at Tyler Perry, who appears to have some problems with dark-skinned actors, while Snipes appears to be expressing his utter disappointment over Tyler's habit of casting dark-skinned individuals in roles that uphold harmful stereotypes. And as the actor says, it creates more anger and violence within the community.
A billionaire who has a lot of power and is using things to manipulate the masses and play on people's minds.
But here's when Snipes decided enough is enough. He's tired of seeing black folks playing dealers, degenerates, and inhuman beings, and it seems like Hollywood prominent figures like Tyler are not trying to fight this negative narrative, but also feed into it. It's important to note that Snipes is not the first person who comes forward with such claims, and in fact, there's been major concerns about racial stereotypes in Hollywood. About a couple of years ago, there was quite a buzz in the industry about a potential sequel of New Jack City, a 1991 film in which Wesley Snipes had a prominent role of Nino Brown, a flamboyant, cold-blooded kingpin. However, to much shock of Warner Brothers, the actor refused to participate in the reboot, explaining his decision by the negative portrayal of dark-skinned African Americans as criminals in such movies.
Actually, I turned the film down a couple of times when they first approached me because that wasn't where my head was at. You know, I didn't feel that was where our people needed to be at.
New Jack City has since become a cult classic. Even though they promised Snipes a hefty sum for doing the sequel, he turned down numerous offers and refused to portray the negative role as Nino Brown. In his interview, the actor mentioned the movie's possible impact on reinforcing harmful stereotypes about dark-skinned men. Snipes didn't want to contribute to that narrative, saying to producers, "I told them no. If I had a dime for every time I've said no, it's a done deal. It's a wrap." Seems like Snipes is tired of seeing dark-skinned actors being constantly overlooked, undercasted, and poorly represented in Hollywood, and he blames powerful figures who have enough influence in the industry for pushing this negative narrative. And it seems like Tyler Perry is the ideal candidate to show total disrespect towards his black brothers and sisters because he's doing exactly the same in his studio.
You know, it's a very expensive sandbox to be playing and learning in, you know what I'm saying? I had a little problem with that.
Apparently, Snipes tries to hint that Hollywood is still very toxic for many people, and its traditions and narrative hasn't changed a bit. Now, with many black representatives everywhere, and Tyler Perry being a movie mogul with his own 330-acre studio, the situation should have changed for better. But in fact, people like Snipes are still being offered derogatory roles, feeding this toxic narrative even more. As the actor stated, "I think some things should be left alone if it worked at the time under the circumstances, and the story was built around things that aren't. I don't particularly like the idea of recreating the drug culture. For what?" Apparently, this was the main reason why Snipes disappeared from radars completely. After all, who wants to be a part of the cruel games that had been harmful in the past and left a horrible mark on the numerous future generations?
I mean, that goes back to the 1800s, right? Early 19th century. It's been an issue in this country since the beginning.
So it seems that Snipes' bold move to challenge harmful stereotypes didn't sit well with some powerful players in the industry. Over the years, as the roles he was offered didn't align with his new vision of dark-skinned actors, things got even tougher for him. But he stood his ground and his message remained clear. Hollywood needs to do better when it comes to representation of black people. But apparently, his voice will not be heard by movie titans like Tyler Perry.
All of that noise, none of it matters. All those people who are talking, it doesn't matter.
There have been attempts to expose him for his shady activities, and even some notable figures like Chris Rock, who spoke against Tyler Perry and his crazy ideas of black men representation in movies. But it didn't actually improve the situation. In his recently resurfaced interview, Chris dared to suggest that filmmaker Tyler Perry might have unwittingly promoted colorism in his popular movies. You could practically hear the collective gasp from Tinseltown demanding Tyler to step away, but it's not like he's going to listen.
Dress, what is he doing? Why is this? And when I'm hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy.
Apparently, Tyler Perry is enjoying this position of power he has in show business. And when it comes to making movies and writing scripts, we already know that this man doesn't want to hear any advice. Even fans are saying that Tyler has become too arrogant and greedy, and he will stomp on everyone to sell more movies. As one person commented, "There is no money worth destroying your own people." And another user added, "Tyler Perry, or get where he comes from. He needs to stand down." Apparently, the negative portrayal of dark-skinned actors is very lucrative for Hollywood and Tyler Perry in particular. And it's not like he's going to change his plans because some old and retired actors like Wesley Snipes are coming forward.
You're trying to get somewhere, you gotta focus. You know exactly what you wanna do. You're gonna listen to this noise and let them talk you out. of what you know is yours.
And if you follow Rock's observation, you may notice the seed of truth. As the comedian mentioned, in Tyler Perry movies, there's always, there's a woman and she usually is in a bad relationship, and the person she's in a bad relationship tends to have darker skin. And then she meets a nicer guy who tends to have lighter skin, and he sweeps her off her feet. And that dark-skinned guy is mean on a level you've probably never seen in movies. But Chris Rock isn't alone in calling out Tyler Perry for this alleged issue. Surprisingly, this sentiment resonated with many Black actors, like Wesley Snipes, who began expressing reluctance to do any movies because of this ugly narrative and blaming filmmaker like Tyler Perry for being too greedy.
Some concerns with that. I'm like, yo, you messing with the money, baby. I'm like, the Nino came out of me. I was like, the money, baby, the money.
Well, Tyler's journey to big money has been marked by controversy. In Hollywood, where the competition is fierce and the pursuit of success can lead to unorthodox methods, this man seems to be no stranger to this dynamic. It's fascinating how he managed to betray his own principles and ideals in order to make more cash. And apparently, this man wasn't planning to allow anyone to stand between him and his success. And it looks like Tyler didn't like the idea of other people meddling with his business, and he's been making headlines with his controversial moves, like hiring his writers. This move ignited a contentious dispute within the entertainment industry, raising questions about what the hell is happening behind the walls of Tyler Perry Studios.
10 years ago, I had the writer's room, and they were turning in scripts that weren't up to par for my audience. I've been working with this audience and cultivating for 25 years.
Well, Tyler's response couldn't be more arrogant, and as he stated, the audience of his movies demanded his voice to be heard. That's why all the writers had to be dismissed. He even to brag that he's been solely working on the scripts of all his productions, saying nobody writes any of my work. I write it all. Why am I telling you this? I wrote all of these scripts by myself in 2019. Work ethic. Tyler's decision to take matters into his own hands raised many eyebrows and highlighted the negative power dynamics at play in the entertainment industry, as it became clear that it's one man who single-handedly creates the narrative which doesn't correspond to the ethic standards and current norms of the society.
It was just such an ugly situation, so I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to write because I know that my audience knows my voice.
The man's got mega success and apparently mega ego, because even his friends were talking about how his portrayals of Black men show the examples of unfaithful and harmful figures. But Tyler Perry isn't listening to anyone who's pointing to the lack of diversity behind the scenes in the film industry. As Chris Rock added, I want more Black movies. I wish that Black women would get involved in the production and the writing and directing of more of them. That's what I wish. For Black movies anyway. However, we have here is Tyler Perry, who believes that he can produce the entire thing on his own. But as it turns out, not only his fans, but the actors who are working with him as well express their utmost frustration with his storytelling.
There's going to be a time I'm going to have a really good conversation about that whole experience, because most people don't really know what's going on.
As Snipes is now saying, there's a lot of room for more diverse, nuanced, and authentic storytelling. He insists that Hollywood needs a wardrobe change, and maybe it's time to ditch those tired old stereotypes and those people who are pushing the wheels of this harmful narrative and promote colorism in the movie industry.
Yeah, I hear y'all. I'm saying right here because I'm looking up there.
At this point, fans hope that Tyler Perry is taking notes and ready to turn the page on a new chapter of storytelling that truly reflects the African American experience, because his current techniques seems outdated even for his hardcore fans. As one of them commented, Tyler Perry is doing what he's comfortable with and to venture into other areas, so he writes movie roles that are appealing to only a certain group of people. And this person added, I've never seen a Tyler Perry movie. I don't think I've missed anything groundbreaking. Seems like Tyler Perry has some strange agenda against dark-skinned men. And even more, through his work, he shows some signs of discrimination to his Black brothers and sisters. And now, give me your opinion on that, guys. Do you think that Tyler Perry is actually that demonic and has issues with dark-skinned actors? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check my other videos. Well, that's it for now.